I want to tell you a story about pimps, about prostitutes, and pirates. These three P's coalesce around Palestine in an ugly, unfortunate way when it comes to understanding the Middle East and the various waters that connect us one to another. The Persian Gulf, Bab el-Mandab, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, all interconnected, leading into the Indian Ocean with oil floating to China. And it's a big network of chaos. Forget about Iran and take away the war from October 7th onward, and let's focus on an international system that depends on petrol being pumped out of Palestine and the Persian Gulf and fueling the world economy to build businesses, entrepreneurial projects, dirty bombs and missiles and ballistic death flying across my skies these days. And the fuel that comes from Persia feeds the local sheikhs and emirs. My name is Amir, and the emirs in the Persian Gulf are some interesting characters, whether it's from the Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Bahrain, Qatari sheikhs along the Persian Gulf, enriching themselves once upon a time on pearls, another good P word, when diving for pearls, and providing carbon for the British military to stop and dock and fill their ships up with coal on their way to conquer some other far-off land. This area, my neighborhood, the waterways that connect me and my neighbors, the Arabs, is a system that was fraught with tons of frailty from the beginning. And when once upon a time you had British and Dutch ships sailing across to the Indies to both colonize but also to collect different spices and flavors and foods that enriched the diet of the European powers and kingdoms. That system of back and forth and east and west and sailing here and stopping there and refueling on the way and grabbing guns was an economic model that has driven us to the present moment. But these waterways are precarious. Like I said once before, the Straits of Malacca, go talk to the Chinese about how much they enjoy that narrow passage that leads to their kingdom and how dependent it is on fuel coming from the Persian Gulf and food coming from Ukraine and Russia and the bread baskets of Central Asia and Europe. This delicate system of food and fuel flying around the region on ships and containers is very poorly organized and somehow still works and somehow manages to keep us fed and fueled. But we've seen a glitch in the matrix when the Iranian regime, the Ayatollahs in Tehran, have hijacked a central waterway of that system. And everyone can blame the culprits of this war, the drivers that are Israel and Donald Trump. But there's a reason why the Israeli people are all in favor of this war. Not because we're some horrible genocidal monsters that you want to caricaturize us as being. But alas, it's about doing the right thing. And you can usually trust Jews to want to do the right thing. And in this case, the right thing is to knock out a regime that can hijack our whole system. Don't blame us for confronting this beast. These are pirates. They're petrol pirates. They're cruel, cynical pimps. I call this episode Pimps, Pirates, and Passages Around the Straits of Hormuz because Palestine has galvanized us to wake up and look around for a second. But we're all getting caught up in mixed messaging regarding who are the culprits of these murders and massacres. And is it Jews in Israel cruelly, cynically, horribly massacring Palestinians because we're some kinds of diabolical people? Or is it maybe the descendants of people who you, the outside world, left in concentration camps for years after the Holocaust was already over, with no place left to go? We are the descendants of Russian refugees and migrants, Hebrews and Shebrews running through the woods, escaping cruelty and pogroms. More P words. The pogrom is certainly a P word worth mentioning when we're talking about this whole juxtapose of good and bad and black and white and Jew and Gentile. My people have been chased through the woods with dogs chasing after them. You chased my grandparents out of Russia, and you chased us out of Ukraine, and you gassed us out of Poland, and you expelled us from Romania, and you harassed us and raped us in your Russian civil wars. And the brutality that has befallen the Jewish people for hundreds of years leading up to the Holocaust, your expulsions are not new to me, and you have chased us to Palestine, where once upon a time we resided. Without a doubt. And now you're taking that away from me and trying to say that I have no right to be here? Shame on you. You have been chasing and persecuting my people around the world, and you do it again gleefully. Once again, whether we were in Persia or Poland or Palestine, you have been haranguing and harassing and molesting and raping my people for centuries. Leave us alone. I deserve Palestine more than the Arabs. Dare I say it, it's the truth in my reality, my perception. More great P words. But in my opinion, the Jewish people deserve Palestine more than the Arabs. Sorry. Bad choices. Bad choices on the 7th of October to dedicate your resources and your energy and your children's lives towards what? Shame on you for hijacking Israel and our potential, because we have to confront your obstinance towards facing facts on the ground that there is a state and a power and an entity and a nuclear holder of scary weapons. And yet, your silly, foolish pride, my Arab cousins, gets in the way, and you create this fictitious Soviet, Islamist, Nazi entity, this mukawma of yours, to once again do what the world has done best and persecute Jews. What a waste. You let the Straits of Hormuz be hijacked by petrol pirates in Iran, having hijacked Persia in the first place, and you complain to Israel and Trump because your system was so weak that you could even let this happen, have such like a linchpin critical piece of the puzzle be in the hands of a radical regime, and you just be complacent about that? Shame on you for being so ill-advised and willfully blind to be able to simply let the Ayatollahs grab you by the balls. We put ourselves in that position of vulnerability, and now it's a correction of that mistake to let the Iranian regime squeeze the world economy for petrodollars, to destroy its own population under the weight of extreme Islamic interpretation and Messianic Shia folly. What a waste. You let the Straits of Hormuz be hijacked by petrol pirates in Iran, having hijacked Persia in the first place, and you complain to Israel and Trump because your system was so weak that you could even let this happen, have such like a linchpin critical piece of the puzzle be in the hands of a radical regime, and you just be complacent about that? Shame on you for being so ill-advised and willfully blind to be able to simply let the Ayatollahs grab you by the balls. And the great Persian Empire has been reduced to little more than a paper tiger crumbling under the weight of the American and Israeli militaries. And this had to happen because otherwise the rest of the world would not be able to breathe and would simply contend itself with compromise in the face of nefarious characters like you have done for centuries, you spineless, foolish, complacent characters across all governments. To live alongside monsters is to invite them into your home, and you have done just as much, because guess what? While the slaver states in the Gulf, as they're also taking rockets and missiles in this whole madness, are guilty of pimping and prostitution themselves. The UAE is my ally, but don't pretend it's not a slaver state. They hold power of money over poor people. More sad P words to throw into our puzzle. And the Qataris and the Dubai, Bahraini, Gulf Arab sheikhs, who I spoke about at the beginning of this conversation, have hundreds of thousands of slaves in their society. What kind of people are these? What kind of cruelty is this? What kind of horror? Every housewife from the 18th century knew to pray for captives. Whether you are Muslim, Jewish, or Christian, we all understood that captivity and slavery is a horror worthy of our prayers and our mercy. When's the last time you prayed for Pakistani or Bengali slaves slaving away in Abu Dhabi under the heat and the sun of the Persian Gulf as their passports have been taken away from them and they are confined and trapped to slums and slave quarters all over the Middle East? It is rampant. Shame on them. And to prop these people up as equals in a state system like the United Nations provides us with, and pretending that these characters are worthy to sit next to people who deal with the perplexity of running a free and open society. These are closed, autocratic, radical regimes that are slaver states. And some of them are my allies. Shame on all of us for not aspiring to better opportunity. That oil that comes out of the Persian Gulf is not there for sexual slavery of European women being brutalized in dungeons in Abu Dhabi, or Pakistanis and Bengalis and Indians working for pittance under the heat and the sun, building bricks and buildings and towers and Burj Khalifas for little pay and compensation. All of this system is fraught and faulty and wrong. And the fact that the Iranian radicals can hijack that faulty system and shake it to its core is an opportunity for us to consider how better to rebuild it, not being easily held for ransom by Palestine nor Persia. The Jews deserve a home. Persia deserves freedom. Palestine deserves compensation. And this silly game needs to stop, with good guys willing to confront bad guys and good guys willing to look in the mirror and honor the fact that, guess what? We have pimps and scoundrels and scallywags and prostituting, disgusting men in power in the United States as well. Donald Trump is a pimp and has enslaved young girls along with his colleague. And that's disgusting and that's horrific. Even a scoundrel as disgusting as this can also do the right thing when it comes to a system in Persia that is an Islamic radical regime hijacking the potential of the whole world. So sometimes evil men can do good things. And that's maybe what's happening right now between Israel and America and Palestine. But nonetheless, what comes after is what matters as far as I am concerned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. Thank you for sharing your time and willingness to hear and engage with these topics with me, because it's important for us to talk about this. And it's important for us to engage with this. And it's essential for us to be able to articulate ideas and regurgitate them into knowledge and collide with other knowledgeable people in order to galvanize wisdom. This is what these conversations are here for, and I hope you are able to join me and bring about Shalom, Carmel. That is what I pray for. Prayer is one last P word to accompany our conversation today. Thank you for joining me. L'chaim, to life.